Peace, family. Welcome to Queer Open Mic, where queer talent is celebrated, appreciated, and showcased right here on E3 Radio. My name is Derek. I'll be your host. But before we get into this month's talent, make sure you hit that subscribe button, you like this video, and you share it to spread the word about the hottest queer showcase on YouTube. Now, without further delays and introductions, let's check out this month's queer talent. Before we get into this month's talent, make sure you subscribe, like, and share to spread the word about the hottest and, quite frankly, the only queer showcase on YouTube right now, okay? Now, without further ado, let's check out this month's talent who is currently here on the screen. Thank you so much for joining me today. This month's queer talent, we're featuring Emily Paluba. Did I say your name right?
Yes, you said it right.
Woo, all right. I'm getting pretty good on names.
That's awesome.
Poet and writer. I'm honored to be able to share their story as well as highlight a creative field that I respect so much. Going to get to know them a little more, and then we're gonna start with some questions, and then we're gonna do something different here. We're gonna add a new entertainment element, so stick around for that. And then, of course, we have that lovely performance for y'all, so you don't want to miss any of what's going on right now. So right now, let's go ahead and get into these lovely questions. My first question I have for you is, according to my research, you're from New Jersey. So tell us, what does the queer art and poetry scene look like there?
Yeah, thank you, Derek. That's a great question. I think there's a really rich spill-off from both New York City and Philly being in New Jersey. So there's always a lot going on. There's like lots of open mics.
Really?
Yeah. And
that's cool.
Yeah, lots of slam poetry too. It's really big, especially as I went to school up in North Jersey at Montclair State University. Yeah, so so that's kind of where I fell into like the slam scene and everything, and it was absolutely incredible. So there's a lot. There's also a lot that I still want to explore. I know there's Flemington DIY. They do a lot of open mics, great stuff up in Hunterdon County, because I'm in South Jersey.
Okay.
And there's You Can't Kill a Poet Palooza. That's in Philly. Something I really want to check out. The Dodge Poetry Festival in Newark. I think that's in October. There's a lot, and there's the Montclair State Literary Festival, which I've volunteered at for the past few years, and there's always a lot of amazing voices showcased there too, and amazing art form, in my opinion, and that should be everybody's opinion, is drag for sure. And so there's a lot of great stuff going on in that realm too.
Yeah.
I've been to a few drag shows at Drag Me to Landmark in Glassboro, and they do an amazing job there. So yeah, there's a lot to check out, and I'm still kind of getting my footing from graduating and being back in South Jersey and kind of balancing creativity with working. And so I know a lot of us can relate to that. So there's still so much to explore for sure.
Absolutely. Well, it sounds like it's a great time, and you're out here.
Yes, for sure.
To say the least, right? All right. So tell me about your passion for advocacy and how it translates into your poetry.
Yeah, for sure. I consider myself an advocate and an activist. It's such a core part of who I am, uplifting voices that really deserve it. I have a vision for a more equitable and peaceful world, as I think we all do. And so definitely my poetry is a vehicle for coping in this world, with kind of seeing everything that goes on in this world, like all of the legislation against trans people, the genocide in Palestine, and all of these things that are very, very difficult to witness. And so poetry is definitely a way to cope. It's a form of catharsis and expression. And it's really important to me too, because when I find representation, it means the world. So if I can be that for somebody else, then that's a win. And I have an Instagram account. It's at queer.poets. And it's a lovely account that a friend of mine started quite a few years ago and handed the reins over to me in 2021. So I've been the curator for that page as well for the past few years. So it's been really great. Voices from around the world submit, and we feature them. And I did want to shout out that page because we're always open for submissions. And poetry has such a wide definition, for sure. So there's song lyrics can be poetry, even like collaging and like putting different things together for sure, like
Yeah.
blackout poetry. There's so much out there, and even like definitely diversifying it. We'd be open to like photography and maybe even short stories, that kind of stuff. So if there's any queer artists out there who want to submit, we would love to feature you for sure.
Nice. Well, you heard them. Check out the Instagram. Go ahead.
Yes,
They looking. All right.
we
Go
are
ahead. Check it out.
always.
I love that. And as I said in the beginning, I truly respect the field of poetry, and I'm a
Mm.
poet myself. That's how
Okay, go off.
yeah, right. I got into poetry around like fourth or fifth grade.
Mm,
And I fell in love with it. I fell in love with the way that it's created,
mm,
the flow, the emotion. And I'm such an emotional person.
me too.
And as a kid, it was like, as kids, we're so raging, sometimes, especially towards like parents and parental authority and
Hmm.
things like that. And so poetry was my way of being like, like kind of like, F you, but not really, but just really like trying to be like a child and just get that out, get
No,
that emotion out.
100%. Yeah, yeah.
Because some get into karate or something, but when you don't
Mhm.
have that outlet and you're kind of just sitting and you are a creative person, you start to go inside and you're like, okay, let me bring this out. And
For sure.
poetry became that for me, and as it still is. And so I completely relate and I understand, and I love that I have you here talking about poetry. So
Oh, that's
um,
awesome. Well, thank you so much for
yeah.
sharing that.
Thank you. I appreciate
Of
your
course.
energy. It's good. It's radiating through the
Oh,
screen. So,
I'm so glad. That makes me happy. Thank you.
my next question I have for you here: how
Yeah.
long have you been writing poetry before you became a published writer?
So, that's a great question. I've been writing. I would say like I started really finding my voice junior senior year of high school.
Wow.
That's when I started finding myself, like my queer identity, fell in love
Mm-hmm.
with my current partner, and was like,
Mm.
what is this, kind of thing. It's like a lot of us have kind of had that experience,
Unlocked a
right?
new level.
Exactly, yeah, leveling up, honestly.
Yeah.
And so kind of, and I also had a class where for the first time in a while, my teacher encouraged us to read for pleasure. And we created blogs and wrote blog posts every week. And so I could just read and then write my thoughts about it. And it unlocked something, and something where I felt power. I
Mm,
felt it just like this encouragement to use my voice, and it
mm,
just started to trickle down into other things. I started scribbling in the margins of my notebooks, started
yeah.
um, doodling with those scribbles, and they started getting progressively longer. And yeah, so that's kind of how that started. And yeah, so then I got to college, and fell into the poetry slam scene there, as I mentioned, and we would have competed nationally. Like it was pretty serious, but
Wow.
it was the year COVID hit, so
You
unfortunately
just kind
it
of
it didn't
slid
go
that
all the
in there.
way.
We would have competed
No,
nationally.
it was
Like,
it was really cool. Like it was pretty cool, and
that
slam
is really awesome.
especially. Thank you. Yeah, slam especially is, I mean, the ultimate poetic form of catharsis. Like
Yes,
very
yeah.
much used like for political like statements, just
Mm-hmm.
like emotion, like pure emotion, kind of
Mm-hmm.
telling your story. And my partner and I have been through a lot. Their family is not supportive, and it's kind of put especially them through the ringer. And so I started finding my voice in that way too, and like
Mm,
again like that empowerment, and then submitted to my college literary magazine, and like it's like I really feel like this is something that I want to do forever. And
yeah.
so started taking poetry workshops in class, and kind of diving into it and building my craft, and uh, being advised by by different poets, and kind of and that kind of thing. And so yeah, so it just started building from there.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
just slowly progressed and, like you said, unlocked that new level, and
Hmm.
you just kind of soaked in everything and you started to translate that into your writing, and
Yeah,
boom,
absolutely.
there you were, a published writer.
Yeah.
How did that feel? Like what was your feeling? How did you know? Like what happened? Tell us.
It was really surreal. So because
Yeah.
I'll, all artists I think know that a lot of what it means is to receive a lot of rejections.
Yeah.
And so I got those yeses from the college literary magazine, which, is a little bit of a smaller pool. And I was like, okay, like I feel brave enough to kind of
Lit
get
a
out there a
fire.
little bit. Yeah.
Yeah.
So started just submitting my work other places and got like a couple yeses and was like, oh damn. And so then just kind of kept going from there. And still a lot of no's, but there's some yeses too. And they mean
Yeah.
the world, and to a lot of the people giving the no's are artists themselves who are also receiving no's. And so it's just kind of the name of the game. And
Yeah.
you just got to keep on going. You got to believe in yourself.
Yes.
And yes, I have individual poems published in various places. And I'll read a couple of those later.
Yes.
But yeah, so it's all exciting things. Yeah.
Yes, it's very exciting. I could feel I'm getting chills because I'm just like it's listening to another person's journey and their progress and happiness in what they're doing, and especially creatives, like we work so hard and we put so much into it, and so it just I'm getting so excited for others as much as I get excited for myself, so
Yes, I
love
totally
the
agree.
energy. So my next question I have for you is, as we talked about representation a little bit earlier, you sprinkled that in there. What does it mean to you to be a queer poet and writer, and represent? What's the importance for you in that?
Frankly, it means the world to me. It really means the world to me. I being non-binary, being in the bi plus community, like just kind of living my life in just the eye of fluidity, like through and through in every way. It informs everything that I do in my personal and professional life. And it is really difficult sometimes because the world is really not built for that, but it's really freeing in a lot of ways as well. And it's the lens through which I view the world. There's no taking that away. And so it informs everything that I do, and it really means the world. And contributing to the plethora of queer voices and queer poets that have come before me is like, it gives me chills too, and it really is an honor. Like Alex Dimitrov is a great queer poet right now, and like some just like absolute classics like Audre Lorde, Adrienne Rich, Mary Oliver, like just to name a few. And I think too, poetry is it's there to make sense of things, for sure. Like I feel sometimes when I bring pen to paper, it's like I'm struggling with this feeling that is very hard to put words to in a traditional sense. So poetry, you can kind of piece words together to find a new way to say something. But also I feel like it's for when there's no making sense of it. There's just expressing it. There's just being in the moment. There's just appreciating that the strife is part of life, and kind of taking it day by day. And so, yeah. And Audre Lorde has a quote about how poetry is not a luxury, it's a necessity, because it's this vehicle for expression that leads to community. It leads to change. It leads to empowerment, and all of those things. And I really do feel that in my work, for sure.
Such beautiful words. Woo.
Thank you, Derek.
I gotta keep following up with questions after that. Okay, all right, okay. Whew, made it a little hot in here. That was just amazing. Okay, all
thank
right.
you. That means the world to me. Thank you.
Absolutely. My next question I have for you is, what is your favorite poem that you've written and why?
Wow, that is a great question. I would have to say that I have different favorites from different time periods, because it's like when I enter a phase of life, there's maybe like a poem or two that I feel like really encapsulates what I'm feeling. Like that was like especially cathartic to write, or something I was especially proud of, because I felt like I like unlocked a new level or something like that. So I'd have to say that right now because I've been in a new phase of life where there's been a lot of growing pains, a lot of coming into myself, a lot of figuring out what it means to be an adult in this world. And there's a lot of nostalgia for childhood, for what it means to grow up and to exist still with that little version of you inside. And I would say that I have a poem called June's First Lightning Bug. that I feel like captures it really well. And like I mentioned, nature always finds its way into my poetry too. And so I feel like it's a really great example of how I love to bring nature into my work. And it's that feeling when you see a lightning bug for the first time in the year, and it's like, oh, like something, like summer's coming, something's coming. And then just that childhood, like just playfulness, but also there, when you look back on it, it has a deeper meaning than when it did in the moment. And that's one I definitely would love to read later in our time here.
A little teaser. We love teasers here.
For sure. Yeah.
All right. I love that. All right. So are you currently working on anything we should be anticipating?
Yes, absolutely. Always. Always writing, always submitting my individual poems, but I'm also trying to find a home for my first chapbook. And so chapbooks are, thank you. Chapbooks are smaller books of poems, so like 15 to 30 poems. They're oftentimes a poet's first like published collection. So I'm trying to find a home for that. I do have a manuscript as well, so hopefully the publication of that's on the horizon.
Whoa.
My last year of my last semester of college, I did an independent study where I basically just consumed as much queer poetry as I could, and wrote poems inspired by that, and kind of ended up making a manuscript. And so it's really exciting. So hopefully those things the publication of those collections are on the horizon, but I do still have those individual publications out. So it's pretty exciting.
Yes, that's incredible. Let me just congratulate you on
you.
Just leveling up, progressing, all the positive energy that you have. It's so, I'm just soaking it in, honestly.
Oh, thank you, Derek. I love that.
Absolutely. I love that I'm able to find someone who truly deserves to have the light shine on them, because you clearly have been working hard on your craft, hard on poetry as a writer, and it translates in your words as well. So I'm very thankful that you responded and that I have you on here and be able to support you. So
thank you so much, Derek.
A few more questions here.
Yeah. Thank you.
Oh, no. Were you going to say something?
I was just going to say thank you so much for reaching out to me, for having me on here. And also like talking about contributing to queer voices. I mean, the collective that you're building here, it's really powerful to have something archived on the internet that people can always kind of reference. And so it's really an honor to be a part of that. And I've watched the queer open mics before this, and it's just really beautiful. Listens to the music, and what you're doing is really amazing, putting a spotlight on these queer artists. And so it's an honor to be one of them, for sure.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Yes. So as I said, a few more questions here, and then we have this lovely two-parter. So y'all stick around. Nice. And of course the performance. All right. So do you have any other talents and hobbies that you dabble into? I know you don't just sit in the room and write poems all day.
It's true. I like I mentioned, I love to doodle. I'm definitely a doodler. It's nothing. It's nothing too much. It's really just for fun. For sure. I'm a huge reader too. Like I love to read. That's like probably my main hobby. I love reading poetry, but also I love reading like fantasy books. Love romance books. Absolute sucker for that. They after I read a book that really moves me, it literally lives in my head for like at least a couple weeks. For sure. I am an avid animal lover. So
love that.
All things small, all things big. I love to ride horses. Yeah.
My favorite animal.
Me
Every
too.
time I see a horse, I'm just like,
so good, right?
Yes.
And love dogs. I have a dog. He's so cute. I have a guinea pig too. She's adorable. So definitely would consider just loving animals to be like a full-time hobby, for sure.
I love that.
I love to sing too. Like I love to play music. and my partner Dina plays the guitar, so they'll play the
Yeah.
guitar and like I'll sing
And
and
y'all
we do
just
that just
jam.
and we
I
we just
love
jam, we
that.
jam. Yeah, so like that's kind of how I like to spend my time.
I
Yeah.
love that. I love to ask that question because
Hmm.
you're not just a writer, a
Hmm.
poet. You're not just what the talent that you're coming onto. You're a person. You have
For
other things
sure.
that you dabble into. So,
Yeah.
I want to get to know you. I want to get to know you really well, especially for
Yeah, I
these
love that.
questions later. This game I got for you.
Okay,
You can't
interesting.
trick
Okay.
me. You can't
A
trick
teaser
me.
for me too.
Yes, you can't trick me. I'll just say that. All right. So my final question I have for you before we get into the games.
Yeah, sure.
Tell the audience where they can check out your work and find more of you, besides going to
Awesome.
the description afterwards.
Okay, cool. Sounds good. Yeah, so I'm on Instagram at Emily Paluba. So you can always see what I'm up to there. I'm on Twitter/X as well. Not as active on there, but it's at Emily Writes with two Y's. And then my website is a great place to stay in touch with me for sure. It's emilypaluba.com. There's links to all my socials on there. But yeah, I would love to chat with anybody who wants to talk queerness, wants to talk poetry, art, anything. And again, remember that Queer Poets Collective always open for submissions at queer.poets. So yeah, please reach out to me. I would love to chat.
Yes, please do. You heard them. Their links will be in the description, and everything that they said will be in the description below for you to click and check them out. And stay tuned. As you said, as you heard, there's things in store. So you want to
Absolutely.
follow, you want to stay in touch, and you want to see what's going on. So make sure you hit those links and you follow and you stay in touch and stay connected. Okay. Now that we've got the formalities out of the way, the questions, we can relax a little bit more. We're going to play a few games here.
All
Okay, we're
right.
going to play
All
a
right.
few games, and then of course we'll give time for your beautiful poems to be read. Okay, so
Sounds like a
um,
plan.
this is going to be a two-parter game. Okay, so if you need to, shake a little
Stretch
bit,
it out
shake
a
the
little.
vibes off, yeah,
Okay.
stretch it out. This is going to be a two-parter. So this first part we're going to play first before your performance, then we'll have your
Okay.
performance, and then at the end we'll see if you can trick me, but I don't think you can. We'll see.
Okay. All right.
All right, so first we're going to play a lovely game that we all know that we've played growing up. Would you rather? Now this is going to be for me. I have curated a list of questions that I believe are the best questions to be able to get to know you just that much more after
Okay.
these questions I've asked you.
Okay,
And
cool.
then at the end, we're going to play two truths and a lie. You
Mm,
are going to tell me two truths and a lie, and I'm going to guess and see if I know you well enough from not only our interview earlier, but
okay.
also the would you rather, and see if I can guess the two truths and a lie.
Okay,
If I
cool.
win, I'm not sure what I'm going to get yet because this is the first round. So we'll discuss and we'll share that on the E3 Radio Instagram. So stay tuned,
Okay,
follow the
cool.
E3 Radio Instagram. And if you win, not sure yet. So we'll discuss. We'll discuss, and I
Okay,
will
cool.
share that on the E3 Radio Instagram. Does that sound good?
Awesome. Sounds like a plan.
Okay, awesome. All right. So first, would you rather? Would you rather go hiking or go to the gym?
Mm, definitely go hiking. Yeah.
Ah,
Yeah.
okay.
Rather be in
Okay.
nature for sure.
Okay. I gotta update my notes here so you can't trick me. You know? All right. Would you rather this one's not great, but we'll see how this goes.
Okay.
Would you rather read or listen to a podcast?
That's hard. I would say read.
Okay,
I would say
okay.
it's hard to beat that. Like I do love being like immersed in a story for sure.
Okay, yeah, I see. I'm starting to know you. Mm-hmm. Would you rather plan your day or go with the flow?
Probably plan my day.
Oh,
Yeah.
this tells a lot about a person.
It does. I feel like too
It.
if you plan, sometimes later it allows you to go with the flow. You know what I'm saying? Like if you plan ahead
Ooh,
a little, you know what
I
I'm saying?
like that. I
Yeah.
like how you think. I like that. But still,
You're not going to trip me up. All right. My last one I have for you to see if I know you, I can know you
Okay.
well. Would you rather eat a healthy meal or no matter how tired you are, eat a healthy meal, or would you settle for fast food?
I 100% would settle for fast food. I definitely do that on a
Tells a
regular
lot about a
basis.
person as
Yeah.
well. Yes. Go ahead, updating my notes immediately. Got you. All right. Okay. So now that I've got my notes, I think I'm going to know you well, and I think I'm going to beat you at the end. So we'll
All
see.
right. Yeah. We'll see for
So
sure.
let's give time for this wonderful performance. Thank you so much for sticking around for this long, if you have. And yeah, this is going to be great. So without further ado, writer and poet Emily Paluba.
Thank you, Derek. Yeah, I would love to start with the poem that I mentioned earlier called June's First Lightning Bug.
Yes.
So I'll just open it with that. There's no sunset tonight. The clouds are condensed and swirling like a finger painting, gaps only through the places that were touched too much. Watching a mauve sky melt to midnight blue, when you smell the rain that came and promises to come again in the ocean night, you see the catches in the sidewalk that used to feel like lakes, enormous and temporary, curbs beached by roots, the kind of depth that envelops a body. Now they are just puddles that wet your heels, long, like your toddler legs from 2 decades ago. This concrete, the only place with enough contrast, unlike grass, to finally watch the tens of lightning bugs you could only see from the corner of your eye. You gently reach your hand out to see if one will find respite in your hand, in your open palm, a pause between storms. Your fingers flow through space as if trying to find the light switch in the dark before bed, waiting to feel.
Wow.
I'm going to have to copy you with that mug here. Little voice crack moment.
Excuse me. You passing it along.
So sorry.
Let me go ahead and sip my tea. I promise this is tea. This is a really cool cup, isn't it?
That is a really cool cup. I love it.
It's in it. It's gonna be hard because I have tea, but
oh, cool. Oh, what does it say?
It says, "Cheers. You can put coffee in it." It's beer.
That's so funny. That's amazing.
That poem was incredible.
Thank
you. I felt like I was put back into my childhood state, and I could, I could feel that space that you were writing from. And I love that poem. So
thank you. Yeah, that's definitely.
Let's get some snaps.
Oh, some snaps. Yes.
Snaps.
Yes, that's definitely the vibe of it. And the wonderful thing about poetry for me is no matter what they tell you in school, there's no right answer. Seriously,
yes.
like there's no
yes.
there's no one way to feel or think about a poem, and whatever you feel and think about it, that's correct because that's what you're supposed to get from it for sure. And I think a lot of people kind of get disconnected from this childhood love of poetry because they go to school and it just becomes something analytical and something robotic, and it's just poetry is anything but that. One of the reasons why I love writing in free verse as opposed to a more strict form for sure. Yeah.
I think I like writing free verse as well. And I think when I read like structured poetry, it gives me a little intimidation. I think that's the word that I can find. And so it kind of restricts me in like how I show up for myself in the poetry. And so I think I just try to exit out everything and just flow, like you said, flow from the inside and just let that kind of be my guidance to where I want to take this poem. And originally when I started my podcast, I was creating poems at the end of the episode to summarize the episode. And so I've been thinking maybe bringing that back, maybe dipping into my creative box like that. But
I love that. That's a great idea.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Sure.
All right. Are we getting into another one?
Yeah, let's get into the next one here. So,
all right.
This is from an anthology I was recently published in called Facing Goodbye, a poetry anthology from the Wee Sparrow Poetry Press. It's a really great anthology, has over 90 international voices, all with their own unique take on what it means to face goodbye, what it means to say goodbye. Really moving stuff for sure. And so yes, as I've mentioned, kind of as just a human going through growing pains and moving through different phases of life, this anthology was like so perfect for me. It came at the perfect time. And so the poem I have in here is called Melding Melting.
Okay.
I wonder if this heat will last forever. I know it won't, but I wonder anyway, as I lean over patched pants I unearthed, finally ready to sew closed all the holes I noticed 4 years ago, all the places the seams gave up, spreading like Pangea. Sweat drips to my chest as I thread the needle, nodding for the first time in a while. I wait until the sun rests palm to knee behind the trees to give up, opening my window, the air warm and the breeze what I need. As I sew, finding new holes I didn't notice back then, I stop after the messy knots multiply, after the fabric showed me this thread would not hold together, something begging to fall apart. Yeah.
I didn't breathe during that.
Right? Oh my God. Yeah, that.
Wow.
I feel like it in life, even when something is right, it doesn't make it easy. And I feel like that's kind of the spirit of this poem, is even when it's time to let go, it's time to move on, it's time to keep walking forward. There's like that little voice where it's like you want to turn around so bad, you want to hold on to it so badly, and it can be so painful, but it is so a part of what it means to just be human. For
and I
sure,
think you perfectly described that feeling in the poem. I mean, whew, like I said, I didn't breathe. I was locked in.
Everybody breathe.
Nobody died.
Yeah, for sure.
I was just so enthralled. I was encapsulated in every word, and I think with your poems, it is that each word is so, you're eating it, right? Like you're lingering. That's the word I'm looking. You're lingering on the next one, and your poetry is.
Thank you so much. It means so much to me.
It's music to ears.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Too, with the anthology, if you're interested in purchasing it, for sure. I know the press is on Instagram at the Wee Sparrow Poetry Press, and then you can find their website from there. And what's cool about this anthology, I think you can buy it on Amazon also directly through them, but they donate all proceeds to charity, which is pretty awesome. Yeah,
nice. Okay, we'll have that link in the description as well.
Yeah, so for sure.
Definitely go check that out. And y'all make sure y'all support. We got to. This is Queer Talent. This is Queer Open Mic,
Absolutely.
All right. Do we have more on the way?
Yeah, I got one more for you.
Yes.
So this is Bluebird Anthology. And it's their debut issue, which is pretty awesome. Such a cool design too.
Nice.
So yeah, it's a literary journal, and they publish poetry on the intersections of queerness, ecology, violence, technology, and othering. And so I saw that and I was like, I write on the intersections of those themes. And obviously write a lot about queerness. Like I mentioned earlier, it's the lens that I view the world with. So it's always present. And nature and the feeling of coping with what it means to be othered, for sure. And I wanted to end on this note because I mentioned poetry for me is a vehicle for catharsis. And this poem's called Parental Instruction. And it's like, let me tell you what you're doing wrong. In terms of like parents that reject their children for being queer. And I mentioned earlier, like my partner's parents are not supportive. Their family's not really in our lives. And as beneficial as that is, it's also really difficult. And actually one of the first slam poems I wrote was things I wish I could say to my girlfriend's mother. And that was really, really cathartic to write, because it's, it's not a safe situation for me to express, even if a situation came up where it was possible. And so being able to write like this is a letter to them, but also a letter to just every parent out there who's just not getting it. And so It goes 1. Let's keep it simple. If your child keeps their identity, brown forest blooming, a secret from you, 2. I know you never learned how to cope. While they are open to others, growing despite you, 3. You are the problem. The silent treatment is not love. Threats are not love. Love is not forcing change. Love is not forceful like this. 4. They are not a liar, but a victim. Roses once wrapped in twine are now not wrapped at all, falling out beside themselves. Yeah.
Woo.
Yeah,
If I wasn't wearing a long sleeve, you could see the chills on my arm.
Yeah, no, you're good. Yeah, the idea too of how hard oh my gosh, the strength that our queer family has to go through. Apologize for that noise. I think that was us getting mail through our mail slot.
Love that.
From home.
Paid actor. It's a paid actor.
the glamour of remote work, right?
Yes.
And no matter how right it can be to take a step back, to distance yourself from your family, I mean, it's really hard. And I have so much respect for like my queer friends and family who have to go through that. And this is definitely just a note to everybody out there, all queer kids, queer adults, anybody that like, I see you, I feel your pain, I carry it with me every day. I really do. I'm really, really proud to be a part of this community. I mean, we're pretty damn strong. Pretty damn resilient. So I definitely wanted to end on that note for sure.
Yeah. And what a note you're ending on. I mean, I can completely relate to that experience. I mean, I'm only now just trying to get my family to come around, and at least just a few of them. But a good majority, I don't talk to. I'm pretty sure my existence doesn't even phase, them.
Sorry.
Yeah, and it's tough, and it's been a huge battle for the past 3 years. But mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually, I just try to pray every day to stay in line and stay centered, and to not worry about, those who don't acknowledge my existence, through blood. And I just say that's okay. I acknowledge them, I love them, and that's okay. I'm here to just spread love. And if they don't give that back, then I'll find love. I'll find the love that's supposed to be for me, and that's okay.
It's so strong to have a positive outlook on that. That impresses me so much. My partner Dina is like that as well, and like brings that positive energy. I'm just like, it never fails to impress me. It never fails to impress me, for sure. So kudos to you for moving forward. And yeah, I totally agree with you. For me, in terms of spirituality, like I love doing yoga. That's how I like stay centered, for sure. And so it's everybody has their own way of kind of coming back to themselves, because that's where home is.
Yeah,
for sure.
I've also picked up meditating.
Yes,
that's been a huge thing for me. The beginning of, the end of last year, I was really just getting into my spiritual path, and really just trying to hone in on that and focus on myself so that I can center myself. And I read this book that my brother suggested, The Power of Now, and it literally changed my perspective. I would say 360. Like, it just turned it all the way around. And, and I was a whole new person as far as thinking wise. And I picked up meditation, and it just became such a centering thing for me, and I fell off of it when I moved. But you can feel like the immediate shift of like, falling off of it and being on. And so I just, I encourage people to just try things. You never know what's really going to light that fire extra inside of you. And so I really love this conversation.
Yeah, me too.
This is incredible.
Yeah, I feel like creative artists too, we are examples of people who found what lights the fire.
Yeah.
And I think there's so many people who it's untapped, and that they have creative energy that's just waiting to be channeled in the right direction. So that's why it's so fun to try different things and see. And then because you have that moment where you're like, yes, this is something I could see myself doing forever. Or like, oh, I could see this being like just something I do for myself as a hobby and like that kind of stuff.
Exactly.
Creativity is so powerful in that way.
Yes. I love this. All right. So now.
Yes, it's time.
It is time to see if I'm a winner, which I think I am, but we'll see. We'll see. All right. So we are going to play Two Truths and a Lie to end this. And on a good, lovely note, we had some serious times in this. We had the performance, which gave us a lot of emotion. And now we're going to end on a winning note for me. All right. So, okay. So, whenever you're ready, give me the two truths and a lie.
Okay.
And I got this.
All right. Let me simmer here for a second.
Go ahead, simmer. Let's see. I'll give you some simmer tunes.
Okay. Okay. My first one will be, so I majored in psychology in college. That's my first one. My second one will be, I am an avid Animal Crossing player on the Switch. Okay, that's my second one. And my third one will be my favorite food. My favorite food is fried rice.
Oh.
So those are my three. So you have to find a lie.
Okay. Let's see. All right. You studied psychology, majored in psychology. You're an avid Animal Crossing player. These are good.
That's how quick I thought on my feet there. Like,
oh man. Ooh, okay. Your favorite food is fried rice. Okay. I'm gonna go with the lie is. Okay. I'm gonna go with the lie is you're an avid Animal Crossing player.
That is not correct.
No.
Why is that really for you? No, yeah. The lie was that I was a psychology major. That was not correct. Yes.
I lingered on that one for a second.
Because it's true. I feel like if I had to live life twice, that would have been my second go of it. Because I would have loved to kind of explore that and explore a career as like a therapist.
Gotcha.
But no, I majored in English because I loved reading and writing, and so kind of like delve into like the stories of it all. Yeah,
makes sense. Yeah. And I was like, I know you're an avid animal lover, but crossing that with video games, that's a whole nother level.
It is a whole nother level, right? I do love Animal Crossing.
You're royalty in leveling up. Like that's basically what you're telling me.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Sure.
Well, okay. We'll have to discuss your prize,
your
winnings, afterwards, and we'll announce that on the E3 Radio Instagram. So make sure y'all follow that so that we will announce that because I lost today, but that's okay. We come back. We come back from the ashes and we rise again. Thank you so much for joining me on this month's Queer Open Mic. I'm so happy to be able to have supported you, shine the light on you. Anything that you want to leave with the audience, any final words you'd like to say, shout out you want to give, the floor is yours.
I guess I'll just end by saying thank you. And again, like creating a community like this that queer resilience, the visibility is so important, and it's a really beautiful community that you're building here, and at E3 Radio. So it's truly an honor to be a part of that, and I'm really excited to watch and see how it grows for sure.
Absolutely.
But yes, stay tuned with me on at emilypaluba.com.
Yes. Make sure you tap in, stay connected. And as they said, they're looking for writers and things for Instagram. So send in your inquiries, okay? Put your foot out there, put your arm in there,
Yes.
bet on yourself, put yourself out there, okay? We're all about supporting each other. All right. Okay. So links in the description, as I said, click them, follow, check out, stay tuned, stay connected. This is Queer Open Mic. It has been Emily Paluba, poet and writer, here for this month's talent. Make sure you stay tuned for next month's talent right here on E3 Radio. All right?
Awesome.
We'll see you next month.
Bye, everybody.